This is easy when you're right inside. It's brutal when you're not right inside. You know, I've seen many eras in this company. I've seen easy times, explosive times, op meetings when people were spilling out the door. I've seen harder times when things were a little more difficult. I've seen times when we had to go from a ragtag army of people to kind of super professional. We've gone through a lot of things. But I've learned to recognize the moments and the eras that are right, and that when builders come along, it's easier for them to build, and we are marching in to that time. What Tom Amini said is 100% accurate. You are never going to find anything better than this or walk into the wave that's moving better than you are now. You know, I want to tell you a little story. You know, a number of years ago, we had a friend who had an opportunity to buy a home up in San Luis Obispo. And it was a beautiful home, you know, a big old Victorian thing, porches everywhere, and he got this incredible deal on it. And so he bought it, you know, and he talked to me about it, and I said how glad I was that he was able to get this. He said, there is a train that goes by it, though, that's the only thing. So, well, whatever, you got such a great deal on it, it's beautiful. So a few years later, you know, we go to dinner at his home, and the train goes by. And when we're shaking and vibrating, it's like, oh my gosh, listen to that thing. And I said, you know, what was that? The train? He said, oh, you know, we don't even notice that anymore. They don't notice it anymore. And what you have to be aware of is that you don't notice this anymore. That you heard it so much. So many people talking about how great they're doing and how happy they are and all the success that they're having and all the times they call you to a deeper commitment, that you don't hear it anymore. And that's like the kiss of death in your life, whether you're here for 3 months or you've been here for 3 years or 10 years. This needs to be new and exciting. You know, so I'm kind of warning those of you. So anyway, today is going to be a day, and tomorrow, where you need to make decisions, like I made. I'll tell my story briefly. Years ago, I just got involved in what was then A.O. Williams. A friend of mine called me and said, Mike, come take a look at this insurance deal. Yeah, that's what we call it, the insurance thing. And I remember thinking, God, everybody knows I'm depressed. Everybody knows I hate my job. I mean, who ever asked anybody to sell life insurance? I mean, that's just the worst thing. And I put it off, and I postponed it, and I put it off and postponed it. And finally I went down there and saw it, sat in the back of the room, and thought, oh my gosh, won't everybody in the world do this? Did I get here first? No, I didn't. I was the number 31,000 person that joined the company. No, it was more than that. 12,000, less than that, 13,000. But anyway, there was a lot of people in the company. And I just thought, gosh, everybody would do this. Why wouldn't everybody do this business? So I started, like a lot of you. I said, okay, I'm going to start calling my friends. I'm going to start making appointments. And I did that for about 3 months. And really nothing happened. People would come down to the meeting and tell me it was interesting, and they'd tell me how broke they were in the car. We used to drive down to Long Beach, and all these issues they had, and I'd be sitting there thinking, oh man, this is awesome. This is a slam dunk. I'm going to hire this guy, and I'm going to hire that guy, and they wouldn't do it. Because people can see people. They can feel people. They can measure the depth, probably, of my commitment at that time. And then I had a chance to go see and hear Art Williams in Vail, Colorado. So after 3 months in the business and have done nothing, I went back there and saw him. Didn't have any idea what to expect. I thought I would see a New York City pinstripe businessman running an insurance company. Instead, I saw kind of a bald-headed, heavyset guy with a Do It t-shirt saying things I had never heard before. And again, I sat in the back of the room, and it was unbelievable. The things that he said. You know, here you can be anything that you want to be here. You can have a new start in life. You know, you can be your own boss, call your own shots, be somebody you're proud of. And see, I understood exactly what that meant. I wanted those things, and even though I wanted those things, and I knew it required a commitment. I knew it required more than all the people around me that were talking about how rich they're going to be and how easy it was going to be and how many people are going to come to their meeting. I knew it would take more than that. And it's the decision that you make. It was that moment when I made the decision, because I left that meeting, walked up to my hotel room, picked up the phone, called my boss, quit my job. It was at that moment I became successful in this company. Because there was no other, it was inevitable. Because the decision was gut level deep. It was permanent. It was absolute. I will do whatever I have to do. Overcome any fear I have to overcome. Speak in public, sit down at the kitchen table, make phone calls. Doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I have to do to win. And that's when the life of success and when my life completely turned around. And that's the only way it will ever turn around for you. It's someplace, somewhere, in the deepest part of your being that you need to make that decision. That has to come from inside. And hopefully it will come today, or tomorrow, or sometime this evening. I had no money in the bank when I quit my job. It took me 8 months to get that job. I was newly married, house payment, car payment. No silver spoon, no one's going to pay for me. Any relative I had to ask for advice, what would they have said? They'd have said, no, don't do that. Be wise, be wise. Wait till your part-time income catches up with your full-time. All those things that make sense to a professor, but they don't make any sense at all to a doer and a winner and a leader. You're going to make these decisions alone. You're going to make these decisions alone in the end. You don't get to go marching off together to build it. Now, I'm not saying the partner doesn't build it with you, but I'm talking there's always a dominant, and that one needs to be the one that makes up their mind deeply. And that way, once you make that commitment, you're not going to reevaluate every single time something gets in your way. Now listen, for me, I knew that this is where God wanted me to be. And I say that at almost every talk. Because once you know where you belong, you've really got no option but to march forward and get it done. And I know that if I didn't take that step of faith really was for me. I mean, I'm a praying man. I said, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. This could be the biggest mistake of my life, but I believe you brought me here and I'm going to do it. And that's how I went forward. Look, when you're evaluating this company, because there's all kinds of different people in here today. There's some of you that need to be recharged. There's some of you that are brand new. There's some of you who are thinking about going full time. Some are wondering if this is real or not. All the different situations. But let me just tell you this. You got one go around in life. I cannot believe that I'm as old as I am right now. I don't know where we're at. It was like yesterday I signed up in this company. But you got one life, and it goes by fast. And you're going to have a career of some nature, either multiple careers, not of your own choice, or no career or whatever, but you're going to have, but when you choose something, regardless of what it is, most of those careers don't pan out in the end, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you want to do your own thing. You get into real estate, you got ups and you got crashes. You get oil, ups and crashes. Internet bust, ups and crashes. All those kinds. The only thing that's ever been consistent financially in my life is Primerica Financial Services. 36 years, 2 paychecks a week. Now we get pages of paychecks. Never stops, constantly consistent. The market never goes up. People always need to protect their family for a premature loss. Everybody needs to save. That's not going away. And don't think that you have the market on hard work. When we start seeing things like if we could do Primerica, we could do anything. No. Maybe, but probably not. You're in the right spot, the right time, the right company. Things work for you. And that's just a fact. I've watched it my whole career, watched people think they could do anything else. PFS, Primerica will deliver for you. Deliver good times, bad times, permanently. You've got to choose a career so the career or the business doesn't let you down. At least if I look in the mirror, and most Americans look in the mirror, they can tell themselves and say honestly, if they're honest, I'm not building it because I'm not doing it. I know the phone calls I'm not making. I know the times I don't want to work. I know when I'm not motivating my people. I know when I'm not involved and engaged. You know it. And the company keeps marching on, but it's your fault, you know it. In most industries, you can say, man, the market crashed, homes aren't selling right now, mortgages, we got to get a license, whatever field that you're in, the industry can let you down or not be consistent. So if you're thinking about what you do, about whether you're going to do this, now you just think about that. What are you going to choose? Do you want to be 50 or 60 years old and I made 2 or 3 bad choices when you know if you produce and work here, it will come through for you in every way? Every way. Listen, what do you get? You know, here's when the opportunity comes for you, you can't make that moment happen. There's a moment that you feel it and you want it, and choices have to be made, whether I'm going to go full-time or what I'm going to do. That happens to every one of us, and that choice and that moment is what's going to dictate where you head off into the future. Anybody that takes this lightly won't win here. Anybody who sees this as just a happy moment and a happy time. In fact, usually the more excited I see people and happy and brandishing it about, if this is just me, probably the less apt maybe they're going to win. Because to me, when I walk in a place like this, I was serious.